All right, we are down to the final video, the fourth video of the 4 video series. 4 must-do workouts for sub 30-minute 10 kilometer, sub 30 10K. This is another big milestone for athletes, okay? Whether you're at the high school, the college level, the post-collegiate level, this is a big one. So if you're a coach or an athlete, you want access to me, you want to have you ask questions, you want to talk about this on a live stream, make sure before I go any further to ask you to hit the subscribe button, okay? And if you do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. That way you're at the front of the line when new content comes in, new videos comes in, you know exactly when I go live as well. And I thank you so much for that. But sub 30 is a big milestone. If you haven't seen, I've done sub 45, sub 40, sub 35. They're all linked down below in the description. So, and you can see the progression in workouts. And you'll see progression in volume, certain things, and how it even progresses from 5K, my 5K series, which I did from sub 21 all the way down to sub 15, to the 10K series. There are some similarities. There are also some differences, but you'll see the progression as athletes get older, they get more experience, they get fitter. You'll see the progression in the training. So, with that further ado, here are the 4 workouts. Number 1, mile repeats. It's a staple of 10K training. You're building towards 5 to 6 times a mile at 2:30 recoveries. Okay, 2 minutes 30 second for recoveries at 10K pace, which in this instance you're building towards 447 to 448 per rep. And then on the back end, 5 times 200 afterward with a 1 minute recovery, progressing from 3K pace down to mile pace, which acts like great speed work for a 10K. Where this here, you're running in 32 to 30. Good way to accelerate, a good way to practice accelerating hard to simulate the end of a 10K race when you really want to throw down the kicks and increase your turnover. So now, workout 2, continuous tempo run. Again, I've said this in other videos too. I put out a video because not everybody has incorporates tempo runs or knows how to incorporate into their training. So I encourage folks to take a look at a video that I put out and how to build it towards 20, 25 minutes in pieces. Okay. And that way you can get used to the longer distance, 20, 25 minutes. Again, this is an anaerobic threshold. Aerobic thresholds are a little bit different. Okay. The anaerobic threshold here is essentially a half marathon pace. The aerobic threshold is more like marathon pace, right around there. So here you're running 20, 25 minutes. If you get it to 30 minutes, that's great, max. And the aerobic threshold, the longer stuff, is anywhere between 30 and 60 minutes. So a little bit different, but you have to know when to differentiate and when to start incorporating them into your training as well. And that's where coaching with the eye comes into play. So 20 to 25-minute tempo run. The goal here is 5:05 to 5:10 per mile. You take a 6-minute recovery, okay? And then on the back end, you do 5 times to 300 with a 100-meter jog at 3K pace down to mile pace, which is 49 down to 45 seconds per rep. Again, accelerating after the continuously hard run. Just like workout 1, accelerating after the repeat workouts with the recoveries. They're different, but the goal is the same, to finish strong. That's workout 2. Workout 3. Okay, and this is something I would encourage folks to do about 3 weeks out. This gives you a good idea of how ready you are, how ready your athletes are. So you run a 5K at goal 10K pace, which here is 1450 to 55, okay, which is fast. And then a 10-minute active recovery, get some fluid. If you want to spike up, you can. Get loose, stay loose, keep the heart rate up, and jog a little bit as well. And on the back end, you're adding 5 times an 800-meter rep. Okay, 5 times 800-meter repeats with a 2-minute recovery, and you progress from 10K pace down to 5K pace. You add a little bit more 10K pace volume in there, and you progress down to 5K pace, which here is 224 down to 218. Okay, a little bit longer rep progression towards the end. And again, if you add it up, it's 8 kilometers worth of volume. So an 8 kilometers to 10 kilometers is generally the sweet spot. If you can get to the point where you can do this type of work with that volume, that's a really good sign that you're ready to run these races. And being able to run a 5K at your goal 10K pace about 3 weeks out or so at your goal pace and still recover and add work at the back end gives you a good idea of how ready you are, how ready your athletes are for their goal race. And workout 4, it's broken to pieces. It's a pace changing workout. 4 sets of 2K 400. So it's essentially 2K 400, 2K 400, 2K 400, 2K 400. Okay. Your 2Ks, you're running a 10K pace, which is 6 minutes to 5:58 per rep. Okay. It's the same as the mile pace up again. You're running 4:47 and 4:48. You're just continuing to add a lap at that same exact pace. Okay. Add a lap in the outdoor track. So, and then you take a 200-meter jog, and then you run a 3 kilometer pace for the 400s, which is 105 to 106 or 65 to 66. And again, if you need to, and again, you're building up to 4 sets. Not everybody can handle 4 sets, but if you can, that's a good idea. That's a good thing. It's 6 miles worth of volume. So it's just a substantial workout. Okay. And some folks need to do 200-meter jog after the 2Ks and a 400-meter jog after the 400-meter reps to get a little bit extra recovery. But if you can get to the point where you have a consistent 200-meter jog after every rep, that's when you know you're really, really fit and ready to go. So those are the 4 workouts. And let me know what you think. And see how they differentiate from sub 45, sub 40, sub 35. You'll see the progression parts of the workout. You'll see some consistency in part of the workout too. There's similarities in what I prescribe for runners, male and female. Okay, because it works. The question is, when do you plug it in? How often do you plug it in? How do you modify it? So, and that's why you have access to me. Black Belt Running Coach at gmail.com. Black Belt Running Coach at gmail.com, excuse me, is my email address. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. And again, I'll be live at the end of the series, which is after this video. We'll talk about 10K training. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. And this is another thing, at the end of a cross-country season, how do you transition from this to track, and how do you parlay that, your fitness, into early season track races? Sometimes you might be Division I athlete, where you might want to get an early season qualifier and then take a recovery and then build towards the rest of the season. But a lot of folks do that in Division I, like Boston University is coming up, and a lot of folks will run that race to try to get an early NCAA qualifier, and then they'll secure it and they'll run fast enough so they don't have to run it again. So, and then they can recover and start to build towards the long season. Because the fact is, the winter/indoor track season is the longest season of all three, longer than cross country, longer than outdoor track. So this is a good idea if you can do that, to do it. So, but that's my 4 workouts, my must-do workouts for sub 30-minute 10K. Let me know what you think. Load up the comments if you have any questions. Have a great season, gang, and be healthy. And I'll talk to y'all next time.